A very good evening and welcome to our hour or thereabouts of sporting chat on a Thursday night here on Sheffield Live TV's Talking Sheffield. We've got a current championship footballer from the region on the show tonight, a former Sheffield Wednesday defender who now plays for Rotherham United. He enjoyed a recent return to Hillsborough with a 1-0 victory, and under Neil Warnock he's playing a major part in what could be a great escape from relegation in the Championship. He is Richard Wood. Very good evening, Richard.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. It's been a few years.
Yeah, it has. It's been a while, actually. But it's good to catch up with you and finally see you again and be on this show.
It is, because I used to interview you regularly when you were at Hillsborough playing for Sheffield Wednesday. We'll talk about those days. But in the meantime, I've been reconnecting with you via a certain newspaper column in the Sheffield Star. You've become a regular columnist. Does that suggest you're looking with an eye on the future beyond playing?
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying my best anyway. It's difficult to come up with articles every week, especially when you're playing, because it's hard to criticise, or you've got to be careful what you say and what you write about, really. But I'm definitely looking into that, and I'm doing a journalism degree at Staffordshire University at the moment. I'm in my first year of 2. It's a fast-track degree, and we'll see what doors it opens from there.
That's got a reputation for fast-tracking ex-footballers. I know quite a few players have been through Staffordshire University there.
Yeah, there's Chris Iwelumo. He's in his 2nd year now.
Is he?
And he's doing quite a lot of work already, and he still hasn't completed the course. And I thought it was, rather than just trying to get into it myself, the media side of it, I'd get the degree done, get all the qualifications, and at the end of the day, it's a degree. If I'm no good at doing this sort of thing, writing columns, then at least I've got a degree and something to show for it, and maybe go into teaching or something like that after football. So
at what point did you think, oh, journalism?
Well, the PFA are big on after football education and sorting courses out for you. And this one came up, and it has always interested me. I'd like to stay in football if I could after I've finished. I'm not too keen on coaching. That might change. I'm definitely going to do my badges after this course, but that ain't something I'm looking for. But media's a big thing now in football, and you see quite a lot of ex-players now as pundits on the TV, and I think I could do a good job of it. And with the education, with the degree behind me, hopefully that stands me in good stead. Because
a lot of pundits just get those jobs because of who they are. They're high-profile figures, so they haven't really got to do the amount of work on it to get there that somebody like yourself has.
Yeah, I know I'm not a high-profile player.
I didn't mean it like that, but do you know what I mean? A regular Premier League player is going to have a big name. I mean, let's come to mind. Robbie Savage came to mind as a high-profile player, among many others, who's kind of instantly recognisable. And whether they're any good at it or not, I'm not. Well, careful what I say, but they get there, don't they?
Well, it just depends what I'm open to. What part of the media I go into. Obviously, I'm doing my column. My writing and my English might not be that good. Hopefully it's coming across well so far. I'm doing at the moment assessments on match reports, and we're doing essays then on broadcasting. I've got Peter Slater doing lectures with us, and we're doing things like that. So that's in the summer. I'll be going in for a week to do a full week of radio. So we'll see if I've got the face for radio. I'm not. Well, I think I have with this nose anyway.
I certainly always have had a face for radio, and I remember Ron Atkinson telling me as much when he was at as Wednesday manager. Peter Slater's an old mate of mine from 5 Live days. Yeah,
he seems a good person, and I get on well with him so far, and it's been good. It's been enjoyable first few months.
And that column that you do, as you hinted there, you are in a bit of a straitjacket, because there's no way you can be entirely honest with every thought and feeling, is there, when you're writing about the team that you're playing for? That must be difficult.
Yeah, it is hard. The club have obviously got to look through what I'm writing as well, because they don't want anything going out that might jeopardise, put the club in a bad situation, and I wouldn't do that anyway. No. And then I've just got to be careful what I put about what goes on at the training ground and between the lads, and some of the lads might not want me writing about certain things that go on. Because obviously lads in the dressing room and banter and things like that, it's hard to then put across. You obviously want the fans to know about certain things, but you've also got to be careful and not be too open.
Indeed. Sometime in the future, you might be able to be more honest.
Well, that's what I've said to the lads already, that in the dressing room now, once I finish playing, you're all getting it then.
Yeah, so they'll have to be. And the manager, of course, Neil Warnock and Kevin Blackwell, will know that you're studying them as well. But I've got to kick off, apart from your journalism ambitions, talking about the impact that those two have had. Obviously very well known to me and many of us in this area from previous associations, not just at Sheffield United, but Neil's been right around the block and Kevin was at Leeds United. Looking from the outside, very quickly, 3 successive victories, a remarkable 3-3 draw against Derby. How has Neil done that from a player's perspective?
For me, he's come in and it's Neil Warnock. He's already got that aura about him. He's already got the respect of the players straight away because of his career that he's had. He's got all the experienced players playing. I haven't played for Rotherham yet since I've signed, really. He's brought me back in, Greg Alford, Fraser Richardson's come back in, all experienced pros, and I think that's what you need at this moment in time.
You wipe the slate clean, everybody's available, hence Greg Halford was almost persona non grata, wasn't he? And you brought him back, and for whatever reason you weren't playing.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Okay, well, let's go back to pre-Neil Warnock times, and you've played for some interesting characters, not least Steve Evans.
Yep.
What do you want me to say? No, how did you find him as a
to be honest, I got on as one-to-one. I got on very well with him. We always had chats in his office because I wasn't playing. But he's got huge respect for me, and vice versa I have for him. He's definitely different. There's a different way of managing that he's got that's different to everybody else, but it seems to work. And for some reason, he's whatever club he's been at, he's got results. He's
got a reputation of being hated by players, but I always scratch my head and think, well, if he's that hated by players, how come they perform so well for him?
He signed good pros. He signed good players and good pros. That's how I see it at Rotherham. The lads that we had, or that we've still got as well, they're all very good pros. No bad eggs. Nobody not training hard. Nobody not wanting to win games. It's all togetherness and the team spirit, and I think that's what helped, and that's what helped Steve Evans. He knew what he was doing. He knew who he was signing.
Played for a few managers at Sheffield Wednesday as well. I'm trying to think back. Chris Turner and Paul Sturrock, Brian Laws. Anybody else was there from that? Terry Yorath was there?
Terry Yorath. I wasn't a pro, but I was a YT, a scholar.
Yeah.
And I joined in quite a lot of training with him, which was good. Which was a good experience.
Yeah.
Then it was Chris Turner, Paul Sturrock, Brian Laws, and then I left then.
You left during Brian Laws' time. Yeah. Well, come on to your Sheffield Wednesday career. Why you left? Because I know that some fans are still curious about that. You seem to kind of leave in your prime with that club. And you had 174 appearances, according to my research, across 6 or 7 years at Wednesday. You became a regular player. You were captain for a time as well. But just going back to Steve Evans, because people would want me to ask you, what is he like when he really loses it?
Yeah, it's not as you expect. You can see him on the touchline. Yeah. When you see him on the touchline going crazy, that's how he is in the dressing room. Not all the time, obviously. When things are going against us, that's when he gets you, and you definitely know about it. And I think that's what made the team do so well, because you know you're going to get a rollicking off him. He's going to go mad at you.
But his rollicking,
there's that edge to it where it made us get results. Obviously, I wasn't involved as much as I wanted to be, and half the time I wasn't even on the bench. But that's what he's good at.
You're a big fella. Is he perhaps the most frightening figure that you've ever worked for in that sense?
No, not for me. I'm not easily distracted or scared by anybody. I'll take it, but Chris Coleman. He's a big fella
at Coventry.
Yeah, and when he gets angry, he can get angry.
Really?
So yes, Steve is very good at how he is, and I don't think he needs to detract from how he acts and the way he goes about what he does.
It's getting results out of it, people pressing the right buttons. You know, and it's a lot of the time it's for effect, I would imagine anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he likes to be, when people look in and people talk about Steve Evans, I think he likes that people are talking about him, and he's getting that attention, and I think it works.
Yeah. Oh well, it certainly works for him, and he's doing well again at Leeds United.
He's doing very well. Yeah.
Things have turned around.
Yeah.
We will talk in more depth about Rotherham United and Neil Warnock and Kevin Blackwell and the effects and some of the games you've played. At the moment, though, you're injured because you missed the only game where they started shipping goals, the 3-3 draw with Derby.
Your words, not mine. There.
Yeah. That just keep you in the team.
I felt my hamstring in the Middlesbrough game. In the first 20 minutes, I think it won Fraser. Richardson pulled his hamstring around the same time, but got through the game, and I wasn't comfortable. And just then on Friday in training, I trained on Friday in the lead up to the game, and it wasn't right. Oh. And I just had to go over to Neil and say I'm not right for Saturday, and had to miss. As
a result of which 3 goals were conceded, folks. 3 goals, but he's not said that. I've said that. Having had these back-to-back victories, but what an amazing fight back! I mean, there you were watching that. You couldn't have seen that. Could you?
At 80 minutes, the Derby were in control. They were passing it around in triangles. We couldn't get near. For 80 minutes, the Derby were very good. And then, for whatever reason, I don't know if it were the manager's substitutions. Obviously, Leon Best came on for us, and he put himself about and did very well. I don't know what it was, but Danny Ward scored, and then I've never seen a team capitulate like that and just crumble. And if the game had gone on another 5 minutes, we'd have got the winner.
Are you fit for Ipswich on Saturday? Or
I'm hoping to be. Yeah, I trained today, so everything's okay. Yeah. We're travelling down tomorrow.
Sheffield Wednesday time highlight, obviously 2005. Perhaps,
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Promotion under Paul Sturrock.
Yeah, one of the best days of my life, really, bar my children being born. Yeah. We're still today watching videos or watching highlights and clips from that. There's no better feeling. No. And to have that many fans there, and even the journey back in the services and packed out services and fans everywhere, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. In Lee Bullen's team, because he was the character who led you.
Yeah.
And Chris Turner, though, had put together that team. And it hadn't quite gelled for him.
No, it didn't, no.
Which, is a matter of, regret for him. I think he was unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't know if he got enough time, Chris. I'd got respect for Chris because he gave me my first pro. He's the one that took me in and gave me my first pro contract, and I'll always be grateful for that. And it's a shame that he went when he did. He brought in some very good players and what turned out to be a great squad that it's best team spirit that I've played in, by a country mile.
Yeah.
The lads were brilliant, all down-to-earth lads, and we all got on well off the pitch. We did a lot of things off the pitch as well, which I think helped massively.
Paul Sturrock was the manager. He was quite a character too, wasn't he?
Yeah, old school. He was very old school, and he was funny. Very funny as well. Yeah. He's got a good humour. Yeah. But at the same time, you don't want to mess with him either. No. He could get angry, and typical Scotsman. Yeah. get angry. Yeah. I always remember him in pre-season. He came out with an umbrella, a cup of coffee, and he had a whistle, and all he wanted to do was run us and just make us feel he was the boss. Yeah. I'm the boss here, and that's how it stood. But then at the same time, he'd know when he could have a laugh with the lads, and it worked. It worked very well. Yeah,
certainly a great character, as you say, very, very humorous at times, and he's had several jobs since then. He carries on working; it's in the blood. I've got to ask you about leaving Sheffield Wednesday, because you're 30 now, so you're still in your prime as a player. But we go back, I think, to 2009, so we're talking 7 years. You're only 23, 24 when you left Hillsborough to go to Coventry on loan, and then a permanent deal to follow. Why did you leave? Because I know that Wednesdayites are quite critical of you, feeling that, one said to me on Twitter, and I'm sure it's not the case, but you felt you were better than you were, or something like that. But I know that you were happy as a Sheffield Wednesday player.
I've never thought I was better than I was, because I know I'm not a talented player. I never have been. I'm a good defender, and I'm good at what I do, and which in taking people on. I just defend properly. Sorry, I've got a little cough there. So that was never in question. I was captain of the club at the time, the season before. everything were going well. Steve Watson was there as well. I think he was club captain and I was captain on a match day and did all that. So Brian Law said to show what Steve to help me along, really, which I was very proud to do. But then at the start of the 9-10 season, he brought Darren Person and made him captain.
Right.
And that hurt me, that did. I know I was young at the time to be a captain as well, but I didn't feel it was just, and I feel I'd done so with that. And then there were quite other things going on behind the scenes, contract issues as well, which I don't want to really go into detail about, but it came to a head in October time, and there were contracts being offered to me, but then Brian said that he's going to put me on the transfer list because this has got to stop. And I didn't have words, so he did that, put me on the transfer list, never play for the club again. But yeah, then when I was fit, because I was injured at the time, he put me on the bench and then brought me on at Hillsborough, and I got booed and I got hung out to dry, really. And it was disappointing and sad because I didn't want to leave on them terms. And as a footballer, it's very rare now that you stay at a club all your career. I'd like to have done because Sheffield Wednesday is a great club. And
fallouts and incidents behind the scenes are inevitable because it's going to happen with Squad of 2025. But looking back at the way you kind of handled that at the time, do you have any regrets about it?
No regrets about moving now. Could it have been a bit different and ended a bit different? Maybe, but I didn't want to make it any worse. I've always just got on with it, moved clubs, I went to Coventry and just try and move on. Yeah. And as fans, that's what hopefully now has happened. It's been a long time, and even on the other week, when back at Hillsborough, Neil Warnock were getting all the stick and not so much me, which is good because
otherwise they'd have focused on you.
Well, I don't think they'd have focused on me because it's been that long and things move on and players move on. I think fans are starting to understand that now, as a general rule in all clubs, that you can't get too attached to certain players or go mad at players for leaving or whatever goes on, just because that's how football is. It's that short now. Managers, you see them come and go in 6 months sometimes. It's crazy.
Yeah, they certainly do. And there's a big turnover, and there's always that tribal feeling about football. I mean, you grew up in Leeds, and you supported your local team, didn't you? Yeah. At that time.
Yeah, I never grew up supporting. My dad never pushed a club on me. Normally in families, you get brought up with the team that you've supported through your life as families. I supported Leeds because it was my local team. All my friends at school supported Leeds. We all went to the games. I had a season ticket, but then when I got picked up by Wednesday, we get free tickets as academy players, and from there, it was better than going to watch Leeds. So we had Di Canio, Carboni playing every week, and I was there when Di Canio pushed the ref over. And
so was I, commentating, reporting,
Just things like that just stand out, and it were good times. And then I've always benefited then from the decline because that gave me my chance as well. Playing.
Yeah, I suppose you took the opportunity, and here you are, an established Championship player again, which is great. You had a small time with my team, Chesterfield, on loan as well. You've been to, where else have you been? Charlton very briefly, which didn't work out, and you had loan spells at Crawley and Fleetwood. So you've been around the block. We'll talk about some of those times, and in particular in the part 2 when James Gregg joins us, and we'll also be joined by Terry Sweet of Sheffield Hospital Radio Service. Now, if any of you have been unfortunate enough to be hospitalised, one of the key consolations is that you can hear people like Terry and Leon Rothman commentating from Hillsborough, and there's also commentaries from Bramall Lane as well. But Richard, I'd like to go into a bit of depth about that game at Hillsborough recently, one of the victories Rotherham have had, because you had a battle royal with Ati Nuhu in that game, and certainly you were up close and personal with him. I'd like a view from you on what he's like to play against, because people don't seem to relish that at all, and you came out just about okay on that particular occasion. There's also a certain disallowed goal. Now, I did speak to your boss about that yesterday, this allowed goal, and he makes an admission. That's going to be on the You Are The Ref website. I can just give you a little inkling about his next column. But do join us again in about 5 minutes' time. Look forward to your company then. See you. Bye.